Together we are but first coffee. Susie's just our host, but what matters most is we are a team. Together we are all safe here, and so are you. Among friends and mods we are safe. We talk about trauma, break down drama of life, death, happy or sad, even mad. We discuss it all here. Together we will thrive, not just survive. We will dry each other's tears, celebrate big or small wins, and chase away the fears. Together we fight cults or fight addictions. If not with experience, with love, and we don't judge. Please understand, this is a safe place to land. Please understand, you're not alone. This is a safe place to land. Together we thrive, not just survive. We will dry each other's tears, celebrate big or small wins, and chase away the fears. Because we are but first coffee, and Susie welcomes us all here. Together we are but first coffee, and Susie.
Hey, everybody. Good to see you. I see a few people are coming in. Boy, can you tell I just woke up? I came home from the doctor today and it's been raining. And it's one of those days where you just want to lay down and take a nap. And so I thought I'm just gonna lay over here for just a minute. And yeah, I took about an hour and a half nap that I didn't even think I needed. I just fell asleep. So if I look a little ruffled and my eyes are a little swollen, that's it. I'm just a sleepyhead. So how's everybody doing? Been a few days, right? Since we've been live. So I'm awful glad to see you guys. I was seeing several people have been coming in already. Always good to see that. Indigo, always good to see you. Absolutely. Oh, and Indigo, I've been going to tell you, your prize is coming, I promise. Um, I ordered so Indigo won our game night a few couple weeks ago. And anyway, the prize that she won was I'm making some new merch. And so she was getting one of the first or the first actually um t-shirt off of our new merch, part of our new merch. And anyway, so I ordered it and then the next day I called her and I said, "Okay, I need this and this too." And so she's trying to get those together and there was some kind of a delay because they didn't have one of the sizes. Ugh, you know how that goes. But anyway, I should have just done yours and said get that one done and then do these others. So she's usually really fast, but this one's just dragging on, and it has to do with her supplier, not her. So, but anyway, I promise, as soon as I get it, I will put it in the mail to you. So anyway, every time every at night about 2 o'clock in the morning, I think, oh, I bet Indigo is thinking I'm not ever going to send that T-shirt, and I am. I promise. I think about it every single day. So Millie, it is good to see you. I put a deal in there saying I would love to have you on too. So if you could please email me. The email address is across the bottom of the screen. You are definitely on the list of the people that I want to have on. So if you are interested, please get in touch with me. If not, I totally get that too. It doesn't matter. I'm not too, you know, too hard to get along with, I promise. So Witchy Trista is here. She's in the background. Today's, Witchy Wednesday is with Trista, and I'm really excited to get to know her. And I purposely, y'all, now I have watched several of her lives and stuff, so I know a little bit, but not a lot. And I was telling her that if I know the answers to the questions that I think I'm gonna ask her, then I won't ask her those questions because 'cause I'll forget that, yeah, I know, but you all might not know. So, I like to be just dumb when I go on and do an interview with anybody. I just sometimes I'll get a little bit of background, but for the most part, I like to go in just cold and just see how it goes. I think that makes for a more just real conversation instead of an interview. I don't really like just like interviews. I like conversation. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. I would absolutely love to have you on. And any others out there, any of the witchy community that's interested in coming on, I will do this as long as you keep coming forward. So we'll have a yeah, which witch to watch. That's not easy to say. So John and Jan are both in the background taking care of me, so I appreciate that. And Carnisol is here. Good to see you. Absolutely. We don't have a whole lot here right now, but it's fine. We'll pick up a bunch. I know that Aaron was supposed to be doing another live, and I think that Marilyn at some point was going to be doing another live about all the excitement that they had yesterday. So, yeah, I've got one that I might do after this one. I'm not for sure. It's going to depend on how tired I am. If not, I might do it tomorrow. But so yeah, it guys, yeah, I we need to like there needs to be some I know that you're supposed to be an adult to be on YouTube, but sometimes I think they need to do, like check some IDs or something because or even that wouldn't help because sometimes people's mental age and their physical age are not the same, sadly. So anyway, I've got some stuff I might have to say. Or not, I don't know. But anyway, I appreciate everybody that's here, and I am gonna bring Trista on and get to know her. I'm just really excited. She's always so nice and bubbly. I really liked her. The first live of hers that I watched, I thought, "Yeah, I could be friends with this girl." So here she is. Here is Trista. Hello.
Hello.
It's so good to
Thanks.
see you.
Good to see you. Thank you for having me on. I'm very excited.
Hey, I am too. I've been all excited. My daughter and I had a doctor's appointment today, and my daughter and I went to Olive Garden after the doctor's appointment, and we literally, I'm not kidding. I thought, oh crap. Like we literally sat there like 3 hours and we were just talking. And I was talking about like things to ask you and stuff that Jimena has said and Christy has said and different shows that I've watched lately and all this and then I looked and I said, "Well, I kind of probably ought to go home unless I'm gonna do the" I said, "Do you think they'll let me do the live from the Olive Garden?" She just laughed and she said, "Well, let's get you home." And I'm like, "Yeah." And then I got home and went to sleep. Oh, well. So
Hey,
how
if
are
you needed it,
you?
you needed it though.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
good. Yeah.
we were talking backstage about that we've
Yeah.
both had some insomnia issues and had the last couple nights we've both slept good, so
Yay.
that's good. Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to just, I had told you before, um just have a conversation, just get to know you a little bit, let my chat and the lurkers and everybody kind of get to know you a little bit. And so basically just tell us a little bit about you. Just tell us who you are.
Well, I'm Trista. So I don't know where to begin. I guess I mostly see I'm out of work right now, but I've worked
Mhm.
in the natural health industry for like almost 15 years. So
Wow.
that's been fun, like with herbs and supplements and stuff like that. And at a
Mhm.
store level, it's not like taking appointments or anything like that. But
Mhm.
I also do energy work. So I do Reiki, and then that's kind of my foundation. And then I do like other energy work on top of that, that kind of comes to me more
Mhm.
intuitively, and sound frequencies, so singing bowls and tuning forks and bells and pretty much anything that
Yeah.
makes sound is healing in some way. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
use a lot of different tools that way or in
Mhm.
that too. So yeah.
Yeah,
And
even
I've,
my
yeah, go
mod,
ahead.
John, his channel is Healing Through Song, and,
Yeah.
we believe very much in the healing properties of
Hmm.
music and all kinds of stuff, so, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
when
for
did
sure.
when did you get into all of this kind of a thing? Has this been something that you've done, your whole life, or
S-
did it
Sort
come
of.
to you late? Sorta? Yeah?
So I was raised Catholic, but my
Mhm,
parents are really open-minded Catholics, and the
mhm.
church felt open-minded. And I mean, I was a child, so I don't know for sure, but I it felt warm and everything. So I never really had
Mhm.
that aversion to religion that a lot of people who turn to Wicca have.
Mhm.
Um, but it's always kind of been there, that the spiritualness has always been there.
Yeah.
So my sister was a big catalyst for me for sure, because she would buy me crystals and tell me about crystals. And she told me about astral projection. When I was like 10, I was able to astral
Oh, wow.
project um, just by her like saying, well, it's just that, that moment when you know that you're asleep and your brain is awake and your body's asleep. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know that moment. Yeah, that's when you can do it. Just will it. Just
yeah.
say I want to go and you'll go and it works. Just if you keep it
Wow.
simple. Yeah, yeah. So
That is
and
so
tarot
cool.
cards. Yeah, I've had tarot cards since I was um before 14, because I know we moved when I was 14. I remember having them in our first house. So I think probably
Uh-huh.
12 or 13. And I didn't really use them. Still am not very proficient at that, but it's fun. But it's always
Yeah.
kind of been there, those little nuggets of things to come, this foreshadowing for my later life.
So, how's your family with you being Wicca? Are they fine, or
So they're pretty fine. Yeah, my sister, I mean, she's really open-minded, so she's fine. And my dad and I weren't really close when he was alive, but he
Oh.
tried, he would just be
Mhm.
accepting of whatever, just to kind of, hopefully make peace or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
Meet me
maybe
somewhere,
ride
meet
it
me
out.
halfway. Yeah.
I think my dad's always
Um,
just trying to ride out this
yeah.
wave and what comes next.
um, and my mom's funny, because I hadn't thought like that she, I mean, I post about it. I'm very open about it, and I've
Uh-huh.
been into it for like, well, since 2000.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, or
26.
2001,
Yeah.
2000, 2000. Yeah. So it's been
Wow.
a while, and
Mhm.
and I'm very open about it. And then one day I posted something on Facebook, and she sends me a message, and she's like, "Is my daughter a witch?" And I was like, "Well, yeah. I mean, I didn't think I was hiding it." And that was that. And she didn't really say anything negative or positive. It was just like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
all it is, and that's okay. So yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. I know whenever I started really trying to get into this whole and like I said, if I'm anything, I'm a little baby witch. I'm just starting to kind of, get into all this, but anyway, when I decided to look into it and everything, and I asked my husband, I said, I was really nervous. I don't know why. And we were on vacation and I thought, okay, he's completely calm. I'm gonna ask him now. So I was like, so what do you think? I mean, what if I'm a witch? And he kind of looks at me and he goes, weren't you always? And I like smacked him because I thought he was being. So I'm like,
Oh.
"Don't." And he goes, "No, really." He says, "You and all of your crystals and your oils and your herbs and your natural
Oh, I love it.
remedies
Yeah.
and all this stuff."
Yeah.
He said, "What are you gonna do? Start reading tarot cards?" And I'm like, "Well, I brought, like, 4 decks with me on vacation." And he says, "Like I said,
Yeah.
weren't you always?" And I'm just like, "Okay." So I don't think my mom has passed, but, my dad, he's kinda like, "It's not that big of a jump from what you've always been doing,"
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, 'cause I mean,
Yeah.
I've always believed in things like, psychics. I don't think that everybody that claims that they're one is a psychic, but I do believe that there are psychics, and, I I have always believed in that kind of stuff, and I've always been terrified of Ouija boards. I'm not scared of anything, but I'm still terrified of Ouija boards. So I don't know why. I'm just like, nope,
Well,
not
it's
doing it.
funny though, because like I've used Ouija boards in the past, a long time ago. It's been a very long time, but I've never had a negative experience.
Really?
And I think, like, and I mean, I'm not
Me
going to
either.
tell anyone
Never
to go
used
and
one.
try it, but like, I found that you just got to say goodbye. You just got to follow that structure that they suggest.
Yeah.
And one thing a friend of mine and I did, we when I was staying at her place, she lives on a farm in the middle of nowhere, so there wasn't really a lot to do.
Uh-huh.
So that was one of our things. And it's funny because she's like, "Oh well, my mom has a Ouija board somewhere," and we looked everywhere and couldn't find it. And we're like, "Well, let's just make one." So we just like wrote it on literally a piece of paper and used a
Wow.
shot glass as the planchette. And and then when we were done, we said goodbye and ripped it up and threw it away. And then we did that each time. We would make a new one each time. So kind of,
Yeah.
say goodbye for sure to close that, and then, you know, get rid of it.
Well, what's funny is my husband, Mark, which y'all would just have to know him. A lot of my people know him, and he is like, I call him like white bread. He's just like very simple, just very simple, nothing too flashy, just, good as gold, absolutely great, but just, no spice, no this, no that. Somewhere in his mom's attic, he says is a Ouija board. So they used to play with this Ouija board all the time. And I said, "Oh, I'm gonna go up in that attic and I'm gonna find it." Because he said it would be old, because he said that it had to have been from like the early 60s that they
Oh
had this
wow, yeah.
Ouija board. And so I want to find it. So I might be calling you up and be going like, what do I do now? Bored. So
uh,
no, I'm
that's
not
funny.
calling him a basic bitch, John. He's just white bread. That's all it is. He's just so like he's a nerd is what he is. He's a oh he's I don't know. He's a nerd. I love him, but he's a nerd. So you've just always kind of been doing it, right? So when did you like what was your first like adventure into it where people knew it and like that you did something with someone
Hmm.
else or whatever, what was that like?
Yeah, so I mean, okay, so Catholicism kind of, just fell by the wayside, and I
Mhm.
still was, spiritual, but wasn't really active in anything.
Yeah.
And um, a friend of mine had brought over two books, and I can't remember what the second one was. I think it was Green Witchcraft or something like that. And the other
Mhm.
one was Scott Cunningham's Wicca, A Guide for the Solitary Practitioner. And it's a short book. It's really simple, really to the point, and really well done. So um, those two books just sat on the edge of the coffee table for a long time, like a long time.
Mhm.
Like I was getting a little self-conscious. Like when she would come over, I would move them so that it didn't look like they had just been sitting there for months.
Even
And
though
finally, and then finally one day, it was the first day of spring. It was March 21st. And I was like, oh, it's the first day of spring. And I'm kind of itching to get outside. And, it looks beautiful. The sun is shining. I mean, it's still snow because it's Canada, but the sun is shining and
yeah.
it looks just gorgeous outside. So I open the balcony door and I go out into like the courtyard. I'm like, okay, it's effing cold out here. Like, it's deceiving. If it's sunshiny when it's cold in Canada,
Yeah.
that means that there's no heat being kept in by the clouds. If it's
Yeah.
cloudy, you got a chance. But
Oh,
no, it
wow.
was really cold. So I come back inside. I'm sitting there and the TV's off, and I'm like, I don't want to watch TV. I don't want to like watch a movie. I want to do something in nature. Like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there like itching. And then I look over and those books are sitting there. I'm like, okay, I'm going to start to read. So I picked up the Scott Cunningham one, started to read, and by like the fourth chapter, it's like describing like, how to set up your altar. And I'm like, okay, I'm in there. Like everything that I had read resonated, and a lot of it was stuff that I already believed.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating to me that way for sure.
Mhm.
And it just felt so right. So yeah,
Mm.
went and set up my altar in my room, and that was kind of the beginning of that, I guess.
Mhm.
um, but yeah, I've always been solitary for the most part. I'm trying to think, like, other than I took a class, like a Wicca class in
Mhm.
2003, and that was fun, and so many good people. It was with just this nice lady. I don't remember where I had met her. Probably at work. I worked at and oh no, wait, no, I was working at Walmart at the time. Did I meet her there? I don't know. Now I have no idea. But anyway, I took this class from her, and it was me and I think probably maybe 6 or 7 other people. So nice and intimate. And so that first course was introduction, and then we learned about the god, and we learned about the goddess, and then we did uh, like a conclusion kind of class.
Yeah.
And we all loved each other so much that we decided we'd do another class. So she's like, okay, I'll make something up. So we did the like an introduction and conclusion, and then the four in the middle were the directions and
Yeah.
the like elements and stuff like that. So yeah, very, very cool. So that I guess would be when I first kind of worked with people. And it's
Mhm.
funny because that first section, so when we had to learn about a god, so we were supposed to each pick a god and then come back the next week and teach everybody else about the god that we chose. And someone had chosen Ganesh. And I kind of struggled with male gods, after
Mhm.
Catholicism. And and this person who talked about Ganesh was like, he's the one that you want to talk to if you need somebody who's going to come through for sure. Like he's always on it. Like
Mhm.
he's the remover of obstacles, and it works. And I'm like, okay. So at the end of our, like, for I think the evening of our last class or the next weekend or something, it was going to be a full moon, and we're all like, okay, let's go celebrate the full moon at this park in the city, and where we could build a fire and dance
Yeah.
around and do whatever, right? And I really, really wanted to go, and I worked. I ended up being scheduled to work that evening, and I don't normally close, or didn't normally close at that
Yeah.
job. So I was really put out, and nobody liked closing. It was Walmart. Nobody wants to stay there until
Oh,
10:30 at
yeah.
night. Like, or
Mm.
I mean, who knows what it is now? But I haven't shopped there in 20 years. But yeah, I've worked till 10:30, and like, no, nobody wants that. It was really hard to switch a closing shift. Um, so I was like, okay, Ganesh, this is your chance. If you want to prove yourself, here you go.
Yeah.
And then and then I walked into um, the store, and like the next day or whatever. Or no, hang on. I was working, and then the girl who normally closes comes in, and she comes up to the podium because we're both supervisors, which also made it harder to switch shifts, right? Because only
Yeah.
so many people.
Yeah.
And she
That
comes
makes
up and she's like, "So I noticed on Friday that you're closing, and you don't like closing, and I like closing. So do you want to switch?" I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!" Like, I didn't even ask. It
Yeah.
just fell in my lap, and I was like, "Okay, there's something to this. All right, thank you." And then I got to go
Yeah.
and hang out with them for the evening, and it was all nice
Aw,
and simple and fun, and yeah, yeah. I
that's
don't know if that
cool.
answers your question. I
No,
tend to
it does. It
ramble.
really does. No, this is the kind of conversations that I want to
Yeah,
have because I think if I had asked just like, a you know,
closed.
question,
Yeah,
answer.
yeah,
Yeah, then we
yeah.
wouldn't get that conversation. So so how long have you been doing this on YouTube?
Ooh, I want to say maybe what, 9 months,
Really?
maybe 10. Not that long. It's less
Not
than a
that long?
year.
Yeah. I'm
Uh,
always kind of watching, but I
yeah,
do
it's
a lot of
probably close to a year now.
I
Yeah,
do a lot of lurking or I do a lot of, the replays because, so much of the time I'm planning my own lives and
Yeah.
everything. And so, I miss out. I'll be live when somebody else. Christy's
Yeah.
here too, so that's cool.
Pretty.
And but but yeah, I don't know, I liked your name. I liked the whole Witchy Trista. I thought, well, that just was so like welcoming and just just like somebody's just normal and everything. It didn't, and I don't know, I just liked it. And so it caught my I like these kind of catchy names, I kind of like that, like, Witchy Wednesday, and I
Yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah.
know, just I like those kind of things that kind of catch attention. But so yeah, were you nervous when you first started going on to
Well,
YouTube?
when I first started my channel, I just recorded a few things, and I
Mhm.
didn't go live. I don't know. I don't know when I started going live. I mean, it wasn't. I don't think it was as far after as I feel like
Mhm.
it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, it
And
happens
then, yeah,
quick
yeah.
sometimes.
Sorry.
I said it happens pretty fast
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
It's just like, "Oh, I'll go live."
And I mean, this is someone who I didn't even like being on camera with people who I've
Oh, I
known for
don't
my
either.
whole life. Like, and I don't understand how this happened, quite frankly.
Yeah.
It's like suddenly
Yeah.
it's like, why am I okay showing my face to the world and
Mhm.
just rambling off the cuff? Like,
That's kinda
it's,
how I
yeah.
was, I my background, professionally is as a journalist. I owned a
Ah,
newspaper, and so I say I write better than I talk. So I was
same.
always so much more comfortable being behind the scenes or writing it and putting it out there. I've always had a lot to say and a lot of opinions and all that kind of stuff, but it was just always on paper, not in front of the camera. And so coming on these on screen, I just absolutely hate it. I love it whenever I've got somebody with me because, like, right now, I can look at your face, and I feel like I'm just talking to somebody, and I forget about myself, but when it's just me, all I see is my face. And so when I'm, like, talking and everything, I'm very critical of myself, and I see, like, "Oh, your eye's twitching," or, "Oh, you've got lipstick on your tooth," or, "Oh, that hair's sticking," and all these are going through my mind, and I just pick myself to death and hate it. But I also love it. I also not
Yeah,
I don't love being on it, but I love the community. So,
yeah. I'm kind of growing to love being on it, but that's the thing. Like,
yeah,
it's the community. Like, I'll come on and just chat with the chat, and that's pretty
yeah,
much all I do. Or I'll
yeah,
do like frequency sessions and stuff sometimes, but that's
mhm.
where I have the most fun is just hanging out with everybody.
Yeah, I like to do
Yeah,
those too. I try to do at least 1 or 2 a month where I just come on and just talk. We can just talk about
yeah.
whatever, just any subject. So, yeah, I don't know, I just think it's cool. So, I'm trying to think. I didn't even bring a list of questions. So, you'll have to tell me a little bit about these, kind of pick each one and kinda that you do, like the frequency thing and all these things, and kinda tell us a little bit about what those are, because I know I don't know, so they probably don't know either.
Okay. So, with frequencies, I mean, everything vibrates, right? Like, that's
Mhm.
science, that down to the molecular level, we are all frequency. So, when we go through trauma, whether that's emotional or physical, oh, and to varying degrees, that forms little dense patches in our energy field.
Mhm.
And tuning forks are wonderful because they'll find it. Like when I'm working on somebody, and in person, I want to say, but really you can do it at a distance as well. Where I've just set up crystals to represent each chakra of the person that I'm working on, or the dog. I did it the first time I did it was with a dog. Set up the crystals and then pretend that the person's there. So basically, what I'll do is I'll start about 6 feet out and activate the tuning fork and slowly move into closer to the body, because as it reaches those dense patches, it'll vibrate differently. So it'll sound differently, it'll feel differently, and a lot of times it'll feel differently.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I'll get just indications, like things will pop in my head, or I'll just have a knowing about what what happened, or
Mhm.
not specifics, but it's funny because a lady I know who I've known for a long time, I used to work with her like 20 some years ago. So she came to me for a session when she heard me talking about it and then describing that. And
Mhm.
then when I was working on her, we were at the heart chakra on the mother's side. And I'm like, okay, so what happened, with your mother when you were, okay, how old are you again? And so I'm calculating, okay, so maybe 12 or 15. And she started to laugh and she's like, I wondered if you were going to see that.
Oh,
I was like,
wow.
wow, okay. I win, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really fascinating how it comes up. And then what happens is the body, like that vibration bounces to the body and corrects that dense patch.
Mhm.
So, and I mean, not all at once usually. I'm sure if they're little ones, they could heal up pretty quickly, but like, big trauma is going to take a few sessions. But
Yeah.
it's really so interesting how it's such a physical thing. Like I can't, um, I can't argue with it. It's like
Mhm.
it's so obvious to me. So yeah, that's
That's
pretty cool.
cool. Yeah. I bought a set of, dowsing rods.
Mm, mhm.
I've been having fun with those. I First thing I did was, like, I would ask it questions that I knew the answers to just
Yeah.
to see, like, what it would do. And it was doing right with everything that I asked. I was like, "That's cool." But what's funny is that I have well, he's actually my dad's cousin, but so I think he's my dad's second cousin, so he's like my third cousin. But he finds water wells, and he uses them for water wells. And
Yeah.
sometimes and he'll even use just sticks, like these 2 sticks that he's got, and he's had them for 100 years. Well, not quite, but close. I mean, they're in their late he's probably 80, and so
Yeah.
he's had them since he was a kid, so yeah, he's had them a while. But anyway, so whenever I got those, my dad was like, "What's that for?" And I told him what they were, and he goes, "You gonna go around telling us where the water wells are?" I'm like, "Yeah, dad, I'm gonna tell you where the water wells are."
I
But I
remember I
always
remember
did that.
sorry, go ahead.
I really have always been real into that and watching him. I would follow him around, and you know that everywhere he says there's gonna be good water, there's good water. So I told
Yeah.
him, I said, "Well," I told my dad, I said, "Well, you didn't realize that your cousin's a witch too." He just laughed. And then I always had, I would always do the thing where you see if the child is gonna be a girl or a boy
Oh,
by
yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
the
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
always did that, and I was right every time. And other people in my family, they'd be right sometimes and wrong sometimes, and my every time I ever did it on somebody, I was right every time. So I'm hoping that these little things that I've been good at, in my past, that'll make me be able to do this. That and I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
like like, ghosts are apparently attracted to me, so I'm hoping that spirit will be attracted to me. If I can gather up ghosts, like,
Mhm.
bring them in and maybe I don't
That's
know.
fun.
Like I said, I'm just barely starting out with this journey, but I'm loving it. I have told Christy several times that I have always my whole life, but especially now, the older that I get, I feel more I feel closer to God and, more spiritual and everything in nature than I
Mhm.
ever do in a church pew.
Yeah.
And I've also been very let down by organized religion, very. And I've never been let
Yeah.
down by trees. I mean,
Yeah.
so far, knock on wood,
Yeah. Yeah.
one has not let me down yet. But no, we were just in South Dakota back in the fall, I guess it was. In Was it the fall? I don't know. Yeah, yeah, it was. So anyway, we were in South Dakota and we were hiking, and everything is so beautiful there. So I was just like crying and feeling so just, like
Overwhelmed.
overwhelmed
Yeah.
with the spirit of everything, and because we were just hiking every day, and if we weren't hiking, we were driving through miles and miles and miles of beautiful, beautiful forest and all these wild animals and everything. But we were hiking around this what is it? Devil's, I don't remember. But anyway, some big rock that just like grows out in the middle of nowhere. It's just this huge rock, and it's like 3 miles around it. And I'm like, "Oh, I can do that. I do 5Ks, I can do that." And so yeah, right. This is like 6 miles 'cause it's up and down and around and around, and I'm sure when they measured it, they measured just like,
Yeah.
you know,
As the crow flies, right?
yeah, and, but anyway, we got about 2/3 or 3/4 maybe of the way around that, and there was an outside, like a church kind of thing. I mean, it was just the pews were made out of trees with boards on them and everything, and it was just
Ooh.
outdoors. And I sat there for a long time and just would cry, like not sobbing, but I would just like be sitting there talking and tears just running down my face. And it
Yeah.
just felt so emotional to me and everything. And I told Mark, I said, I've never felt this in church. And I'm not bad mouthing church. And I tell people that on my channel all the time. I'm not bad
Mhm.
mouthing church. I still consider myself, a Christian or a believer. I'm trying to figure out how that all works with this new part of myself that I want to explore. But that's why I like talking to all of
Yeah.
you all, because every one of you have a different story, a different way that you have, you know, gone about this, and I just think it's amazing.
I
So,
don't I honestly don't think that there's really anything between, like, Wicca and other religions where it's not compatible.
yeah.
Because if you think about it, and I mean, I'm biased because I'm also like eclectic Wicca, so I
Yeah.
believe in taking what works for you from whatever
Yeah.
religious background or spiritual path that you find. If it resonates with you, then it's for you. So good. And you know, as far as like gods and goddesses go, whether they're Christian or otherwise,
Yeah.
it's all just different names for the same energy.
I
So
know, that's what I'm
what's the
finding,
problem?
and people are so scared of it, and I'm like, "If you would lay your fear down and just
Yeah.
listen." The first show that I did with, I can't remember if it was with Chris, I think it was with Christy. I did the show with Christy. It may have been with Amina, but I think it was when I did one with Christy. And anyway, one of the first comments, it was from a person that's watched for a while, and he said, "Susie, I've loved you for a long time. I'm sorry that you're not a Christian anymore." And I'm like, "At what point did I say I'm not a Christian anymore?" And I was just like, "Ugh." But I don't know. I said, "I don't think that's very Christian of you."
Yeah.
So I was just, like,
Yeah,
mad.
no doubt, hey?
Christy on here said Devil's Tower. Yes, it is Devil's Tower. I've been there. It is so sacred. Yeah, they still have rituals there, closed for the native people, and its story is interesting. It is amazing. And, they have all this stuff that's hanging in the trees, and, they'll say, "Don't touch it." "Don't touch this stuff." Be respectful. I mean, that whole place, South Dakota, we're talking about going back this summer, and I could move there in a heartbeat. And it feels like the most spiritual, and I don't know, on a nature level, not, I mean, I'm sure there's all the churches and everything too, but I'm just like, because I really pay attention to a lot of the like Native American things. I have
Mhm.
some Native Americans in my family. Um, I'm really into all that kind of thing, and that's where I get a lot of the stuff that I have done forever with the herbs and the, rocks and
Mhm.
the everything is from my Native American ancestors. And so the whole nature part of it went right with it. But I tell you what, I was telling Christy before and my mods, I did more crying when we were in South Dakota, but it was like the happiest of tears. It was just like this love and I don't know, I just felt honored to be there.
Aw,
So, let's see here.
lovely. I
John
saw a
says,
question. Yeah.
yeah, he's saying, Trista, Susie had a really deep experience with Jimena recently with healing angels. Do you do anything like that?
So I mean, I haven't done that with Amena yet. I want to, and I'm on the list. Um, I don't work specifically with angels, but I do have like my team of guides. Um,
Mhm,
honestly, so one of them, the one I probably work the most closely with, is a Lemurian. And it's interesting because he came to me during like a guided meditation where, the whole point was to meet one of your guides.
mhm.
And when I was telling one of my very psychic friends about him, and I hadn't said that much, I said I met one of my guides, and she was like this, and then she looks kind of behind me, and she's like, "Oh, he's standing right behind you." And then she described him to me. I
Wow,
hadn't told her anything, and she told me exactly what I saw when I was, meeting him in that guided meditation. So I thought that was really fascinating. And she's
wow.
like, "He's Lemurian," and I'm like, "I thought so." So yeah, and then during one of my sessions with one of my clients, and she was really great to work with because she's very open to lots of stuff. So I could do weird things with her that I might not be
Yeah.
as comfortable doing with other people.
Mhm.
But so while I was with her at one point, I saw more of my guides, like a team of another three, kind of behind me, but they were all kind of cloaked, so I can't see them. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, that's fine. And then um, one of them came forward at one point, and it was me, old, and I thought that was really fascinating. And I'm like,
That
okay, I like this. This kind of okay. Can you please go? Don't knock my computer over. Um, was trying to scent on the light, which is just
yeah,
moving the whole laptop.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
So
usually my
yeah.
cat's in here bugging me, so uh,
so so what I do is more kind of off the cuff, like what feels right in that moment.
mhm,
So I haven't like reached out to angels for guidance that way, but I do reach out to my guides, and I mean, they could be in the angelic realm. I don't know yet.
yeah,
And I'm sure there's more than just those four, right? So
yeah.
um,
Jimena talked about 3 angels that were with me that day that we did that, but every time that she would say anything about Gabriel, I would just get warm all over. Like, I would
mm,
literally like, it was kind of a cold day and my house was kinda cool because I'm like one of these people that I hate doing the here in Oklahoma, sometimes you gotta turn the heater on in the morning and the air conditioner in the afternoon and then back on the heater
it's
in
like
the
that in
night.
Canada. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So, I was trying to just, like, not do either, so the house was a little bit chilly, but every time she would mention him, I would feel warm. And of course, I wasn't
Mm,
telling her this because 'cause I'm listening, and I think that that's what helped me stay so in it was because I have to really listen because she was talking very low, and then she's got an accent, so
mhm,
I'm trying to, like, make sure that I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, and so I really could get out of my head because I was listening so much to what she was saying, but I didn't
mhm,
tell her that. But then last night, I was on she was having a live last night, and I was in the audience, and anyway, I told her like, she was asking, if anybody needed any, energy any good energies and blah, 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 and I said, "I have a really big doctor's appointment tomorrow, and, I'm sure that" 'cause I'd had a migraine for 2 days,
ugh,
and, I said, "I could really I could really use some energy because, I have this big doctor's appointment and I'm sure the migraines have she already knew about the migraines. I'm sure the migraines are because of my nerves, I'm
mhm.
stressed. And she says, "Well, remember what Gabriel had you do?" And and she's like goes into what and I swear my whole body just got warm again.
Oh, wow.
And I'm sitting there saying his name and it's not. But when she said it,
That's
but I
beautiful.
did that. I really thought about what he said, and it was just a breathing kind of thing, and you know, anyway, it was extensive, but anyway, so I
Mhm.
did that. I got off my computer, and I did what she said, and my headache was gone in like 10 minutes. It was just gone, and I had had it for
Wow.
like 48 hours. So I was
Wow. Oh,
so
that's very
happy.
cool.
So I'm gonna tell her about it later. She may
Yeah.
be here, or she may be lurking. Sometimes she is, but I will tell her later if she's not. But yeah, I mean, I was like, okay, this Gabriel guy, I kind of like him. It's like he's my homeboy.
Oh,
So,
awesome.
but yeah, that thing was it was funny because like a couple of days after the whole deal with Jimena, John was like, this angel thing really got to you, didn't it? And I'm like, hell yeah, I did. I'm like, you bet it did. Awesome. So yeah, so okay, so what else do you do? Tell us all.
Um, so I also use singing bowls.
Mm.
I I don't really know where to start. Like sometimes people will want like just Reiki or just sound, and that's
Mhm.
fine. I love doing both, and I love doing like the really long sessions where I'll I'll do a 2 hours or more
Mhm.
and just work as long as I feel like I need to. And that's my favorite thing because I don't have to watch the clock. I can just feel
Yeah.
it out and go with whatever the body wants at that time and take my sweet time about it. And
Mhm.
yeah, and kind of work with whatever I feel like I need to. So, bring in other things. So I'll do it like kind of sort of formulaic where I'll start at the feet and, work
Mhm.
on the feet, the knees and the hips, root chakra, and then go through with the bowl, the root chakra bowl, and then
Yeah.
move up to the sacrum. And then when I'm done with that, then, the sacral bowl. So I'll always usually start with a pendulum just to kind of see
Mhm.
where the body wants the attention that day,
Yeah.
and then those chakras would be the ones that I would kind of go into the energy field with a tuning fork and see what comes up from the past
Mhm.
and balance that out as I'm kind of going up the body. And then it's nice to, with that much time, I can have the person flip over and then do. I've got a few forks that are really nice on the body because they have like a rounded
Yeah.
end and they vibrate a lot deeper. They're like
Mhm.
the lower frequencies. So it's really nice to do that along the back to kind of close up the chakras as I'm going. And I had one lady who said, because I think the first time I had worked on her, I hadn't done that, and then the next time I did, and she was like, "Oh my gosh," she's like, "I feels like I just had like a 2 hour massage."
Really?
She's like, "I
Yeah.
haven't felt this good in months." I was like,
Yeah.
"Yay!"
Yeah. I used to have a beauty salon, and I did hair and everything, and I had several people that worked there for me, and one of the women that worked there, which is kind of funny, but she did massage, but she also did like Reiki and a lot
Mhm.
of other things. And she did that one time with me, and I like felt like a limp noodle for hours. Like it did. It felt like I had had a massage, and she was like, she was amazing at massage. I had always
Yeah.
said she was like amazing, but I don't even really know what she did to me, but it's been so long ago now. I mean, literally, it has been like 30 years ago. The funny part is at the time she was married to who I'm married to now. It's so weird.
Oh
So,
my gosh,
so I'm
that's
married to
hilarious.
her now ex-husband. Yeah, and they were about to
uh,
get a divorce, and I'm like, "He's such a great guy. You need to hang on." And she's like, "Well, if you want him, you take him." I'm like, "I don't want him." You know?
and you're like, well, maybe.
Yeah,
Now that you mention it.
like 5, 6 years later, I was getting a divorce, and he was around, so I
Yeah.
dated him, and we ended up married. But it's so funny because I'll never forget her being like, "Well, if you think he's so great, you take." I was like,
That's so
"Ugh,"
funny.
you know? Her just feeling really insulted. Maybe
Oh,
she was
too
sideways.
funny. Yeah.
So do you
Uh,
think, do you have any psychic type abilities? Can you see,
s-
do you
well,
talk to dead people or, the whole whatever? I
so
would like to. I
I
don't,
mean,
but I would like to.
like along with Reiki, when I got my second level of Reiki, she had said to me, she's like, okay, so, now you'll, with a second level, like, you can do distance, whether that's over space or time, because you can do into the past or the future as well. Um, and you carry more energy, and you're going to have a lot more stuff like come in
Yeah.
intuitively. And I remember at that time thinking, and I think behind it was I can't, and that I believed that I
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to, or that I wouldn't
Yeah.
trust what I saw. So I was like, oh, I don't want that. I just want to be able to send Reiki to my friends in Saskatoon,
Yeah.
where I moved from, and I can still work on them from afar. And that was my motivation. So I was like, oh, I'm not really interested in that, is, what I told myself. And then I had joined a Facebook group for distance Reiki. And so we would work on each other, or that's what ended up happening. So I joined the group, and then whoever the organizer was, like, okay, we're going to pair you guys up, and then you guys can do an exchange, a distance Reiki exchange. So she paired me up with some stranger, and that person worked on me first. And I'm so glad that she did, because when she did, she then sends me this this report after, that this is what each of my chakras look like. This is
Mhm.
what she thinks it means, and all the rest. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. Because I would
Mhm.
always just, I was taught, well, you get like a doll, and then you work on, if the person's knee hurts, you work on the doll's knee. And like,
Mhm.
it felt weird to me. It didn't feel natural,
Yeah.
or you can write their name down and work on the piece of paper. Why can't I just do it in my head? Right. So
Yeah.
then after this lady did it this way, I'm like,
Yeah.
that feels more right to me. So now when I do distance sessions, I'm basically just sitting there and just doing it in my head and seeing what comes to me. And I'll work through each chakra and
Mhm.
picture that chakra. Okay, so, let's tune into the root. And then, I'll maybe see different colors or different pictures, sometimes like kind of changing pictures. Sometimes it's the chakra itself that I see that has different qualities, where I'm like, well, I feel like this would mean this. I end up interpreting it in, like, um, if I was looking at a piece of artwork, or like deciphering a dream,
Mhm.
like, what do these symbols mean? And then I'll figure that out, what I think it means, and I'll tell the person, like, this is what I saw, and this is what I think it means, and kind of get their feedback.
Mhm.
And it's been very, very few times when people would say that didn't resonate with me. And
Yeah.
there have been a couple of times, I think at least two, where they say it doesn't resonate with me. And then I get a text 3 days later going, I just figured it out. I know exactly what you were seeing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, in that sense. And now I'm starting to use that a little bit more freely. Like on my channel, I'll do like intuitive energy readings. And I'm going to be on Scott Scorpio Sun Tarot's channel next week,
Mhm.
and he does tarot, and he does brilliant tarot, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm like, well, I don't do tarot, so I don't know why you want me on your channel. He's like, well, whatever you do, basically. I'm like, okay, well, I do this. I don't really answer questions though. I'm like, well, maybe I'll try. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So,
You know, I
yeah,
I I say that I don't talk to ghosts or see, talk to dead people kinda deal, but I do actually. I have had conversations with that I know that there's a spirit in the room with me. And,
yeah,
like, one was specifically we were in Savannah, Georgia, and one we were going into our hotel room and this something in my, the back of my head said, I could hear a voice saying, "Get in the room," "Get in the room." And my husband was trying to get the stupid card to work on the door, and I was like going, "Get in the room, get in the room, get in the room," and right as we got in the room, some real or in the building, because you had to have the key card to get in the actual building, some really scary, clearly, gang members drove by, and I had never remembered seeing anybody like that in town or anything before. So it was really odd to see them and everything, but I know that that was somebody, warning me. And then like we got in the room and I was having a conversation all in my head with this person, and like they told me their name, just their first name, and it would joke with me. I'd be like, "Are you?" Because they said its name was Sam, and I said, "Sam, like Samuel or Samantha?" And they're like, "Samuel," and then they're like, "Or maybe Samantha," and like joking with me. Okay, and so I was just like, I'm, and I told Mark, and he, neither one of us thought I was crazy, but I knew that it was a crazy thing that it was odd. So anyway, we came home, flew home to Oklahoma, and this ghost came with us. And I kid you not, it would move puzzle pieces, like jigsaw puzzle pieces. One day it hid a pair of my jeans that I had put a pair of jeans on the bed, and it moved them and hid them. And I searched all over the house, and I was like, "Sam," and I said, "Put my jeans back." And I walked back into the bedroom and they were on the bed.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I know. I
That's so
swear.
crazy.
I swear.
No,
And
yeah,
so
I believe you. Yeah.
so anyway, then, because they say that ghosts and stuff, they need energy and power. And I had a big camera because I had the newspaper, and I had taken my big camera with me, and we think that it came home in my camera. But then we at home,
Ah.
we had an ice storm, and we were out of electricity for 14 days. Gone. He left. And so then I had bought a bunch of books when we were on that trip, and I had not read them yet. I had not read any of them. I saved them till we got home. And one of them was about specific ghosts that haunt specific places there in Savannah. And there was a ghost named Sam that haunted the restaurant that we had had lunch at. And they said that he was a Civil War, you know, soldier, that he was very young. He was like 14 years old, and that he was always a jokester, and that he would play jokes on the people in the restaurant, and that he would go home with people and then come back after a few weeks, come back to the restaurant. And I didn't
Wow.
know
Oh,
any of
that's so fun.
I didn't know any of that before any of the experience happened. And I'm like reading the book being like, "Oh my God." So I'm really hoping that I can, you know, Gen X is
Wow.
here. He's
Clint.
glitching. Yeah, Indigo says,
Hmm.
"What a story. That's amazing." Yeah, it is. It's the truth too. Ben says,
Yeah,
"Yeah, I
that's
had one
crazy.
follow me once." I'm always afraid. On this channel, we get scared when Ben starts commenting because he's usually
Yeah.
gonna come up with something very interesting or make fun of me. They love to make fun of me. I'm trying to see if we've got anything. I've got some more starred
That's
comments I
okay.
wanna
He makes a drinking game out of how many times I say sorry. Every time I say it, he's like, "Drink number 5."
Yeah. And I love it because you all like, the ones from Canada will say sorry, and we just say sorry, and you all say sorry, and I think it sounds so much better. I'm like, "I
I
wanna say sorry."
I like to argue that, being that, Canadians overuse sorry, I think that our chosen
Yes.
pronunciation should win
Yeah, because you
based
all
on
do
that. Yeah.
apologize for a lot.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Why do they apologize?" So, let's see here. Okay, Indigo says, "Do you work with any tarot, or have you experimented with crystals, color magic, etc.?"
So, yeah, I have several tarot decks. I'm not really proficient with them as it stands right now. But yeah, lots of tarot, lots of oracle decks, crystals, tons of crystals, and color magic. I use color in my healing practice, but more so like through the crystals and through my mind. I also make frequency water, and I'll use color intention in the frequency water as well. I kind of put everything I can into it. So like I make moon water, and then
I'm
um,
I'm just learning a little bit about moon water, and I was watching the live that you were on the other night whenever you all were talking about moon water, and do you make moon water when there's a storm and all this, and I
Yeah,
was just
yeah,
like, I won't lie, that was the night I like got a girl crush on you.
yeah.
Everything that you were saying, I was just like, I like her. I like her.
That's so funny.
I really did. I'm not kidding. I was just like,
Uh,
I have to meet her. So cool. Well, because I don't know, a lot of what you were saying really resonated with me.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it sounded like how I feel about a lot of
yeah.
stuff.
I know what you mean.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Indigo also said, once you find your path, universe or God brings things to you. So once you find your
Hmm.
path, universe or God brings, yeah, the people you need.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I believe that too. And I believe that, I don't know. I have just been so welcomed anytime I have went into any of the witchy community, and it's just a beautiful thing. I've just loved it. I've just felt very welcomed and comfortable, and so I just was like, I want them to all come over here.
Let's hang out.
Let's hang out. We need to get a bunch of us on here, and I'll
Uh,
be like, wow. So, yeah, my daughter
yeah.
today, she was like, "Well, if you keep going, you can just make your own coven." I'm like, "Apparently, gather them all together." Oh,
Uh,
she's funny. She's we've been laughing because her husband's ex-wife has been making like she like says that, Megan, she's a witch, like with a coven. And Megan, because my daughter's really into everything too. She's absolutely as much into it as I am, maybe more, and and has her own friends right here that are witches, and so she's learning from them and getting comfortable, with them, and but they're all like, 35 and 40 and like stick figures and gorgeous and and I'm just like, I need people that are like mature. Not age wise. I'm talking about just, like a maturity. Because
yeah,
these some of
yeah.
her friends are like real flighty, But anyway, yeah, it's just been fun. But we always say that his ex-wife will be like, she says witch like it's a bad thing. So, so she said that she was gonna start posting every time I do a witchy Wednesday or something. Mom's having witches on again. So,
Uh,
um, so Millie said that's beautiful. Yeah, I like Millie too.
Oh, I
I've
love
been
Millie too. Yeah.
really hitting I've been like hitting all of them. Yeah, so Jersey Jan says, "Okay, what is moon water?" So, can you explain moon water? And I won't
So
keep you a
moon,
whole lot longer because I know you said
yeah.
you had another
What
obligation in
in
a
like
little
an
bit.
hour? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's in like an hour,
yeah,
so no worries.
yeah.
So moon water is water that you charge under the moonlight. So some people will just do it the night of the full moon. I like to do it the night before and after as well. And
Mhm.
some people also are very strict that if you're making moon water, the sunlight can't touch it. You have to bring it in before sunrise and put it out after
Mhm.
sunset. I'm not like that. I like infusing it with the sun and the moon. So I leave it out for those 3 days entirely. Just
Oh,
it's
wow.
it's just out on my balcony. Some people will do it in their windowsill if they have to. Like if you're in Canada in the middle of winter, you can't put a glass bowl outside; it'll break, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, so you kind of work with whatever you can. It's more
Mhm.
the energy of the moon, which is going to get inside just as well as it is outside, right?
So I was
So
reading about this. So do you put anything in with the water? Do you have it covered or not covered or
I I put mine in a big jug so that it is covered because I
Mhm.
do use it in the frequency water that I make. So
Mhm.
if someone wanted to like, spray the inside of their mouth or their food or something like that, it wouldn't be,
Mhm.
disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah. 'Cause I
Um,
was reading different things that different people do different things with it. Some have it covered, some are like, "No, you can't cover it. If you cover it, then it can't get something." I don't know. But everybody had their own. I was just like, "I
yeah,
think this is another
and
one of
that's
those."
just follow your heart.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, that's something
So,
that I struggle with, like in the witchy groups on Facebook and stuff, is like when people will ask a question and then the answers will be so strict. You have to do it this way. You do
yeah.
it this way at this time for this long, and you jump this high and you spin around 3 times. If you spin around 2.5 times, you got to start over. Like
Yeah.
just do what feels right. Because if
Yeah.
that doesn't feel right to you and it feels awkward, then you're just putting awkwardness into it. You have
Yeah,
to
that's right.
resonate with it in order to get that good energy in there.
So, so Indigo says, I have a coven circle of cultivation with my friends. Literally, let me know and I'll pop on and talk anytime. Yeah, believe me, I'm gonna have you on. I absolutely will. Christy says, I use mason jars and cover it because animals.
Yeah,
I also use natural
and
spring.
bugs.
So you might tell like those like Jan that was asking what you then do with this water. Like you make this moon water and then what? So after you've
So,
made this
yeah,
water.
I mean, it really depends. Like you can wash with it, so like take it into the bath with you or add it to your bath water. Um, you could anoint yourself with it or spray yourself with it.
Mhm.
Really, like the ideas are just limited by your imagination,
Yeah.
really. Like I
Yeah.
encourage people, and I mean, when I do like the frequency water, there's a little bit more to it, but so I'll
Mhm.
do like uh the tuning forks and the Reiki symbols and stuff like that as well. But I'll tell people like spray your bed with it, spray your pillow with it before you go to sleep,
Yeah.
or yeah, spray yourself either before you
Mhm.
leave or after you come home to kind of cleanse. Like you can decide what works for you. It's not like sun tea, Clint. You're not brewing anything in there. I suppose you could. That would be fun.
Uh, Indigo says sometimes messages come before someone is ready and it takes some time to interpret. Yeah.
Mhm.
Like where you said that your friend said
Yeah,
it didn't
yeah,
resonate. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
She says, "You're a medium." Indigo says, "You're a medium too, Susie. Sometimes the spirits get pushy." I don't think I'm a medium. I would like to. I mean, I wouldn't fight it if I was. I mean, I'm not afraid of it. I just don't. I've never like.
But if you're hearing them, then that's something.
Yeah, that is
You just might
something.
need
There's
some practice. Yeah, because
yeah,
I don't. Yeah,
really.
yeah. I don't.
I
I haven't.
absolutely
Don't
now
have a
he's
lot of
the only one.
experiences with spirits.
He's
Sorry.
the only one. Is that one? Sam is the only spirit or whatever that I've ever like literally
So
heard.
far,
Yeah, it's
or
been a
or
while, but yeah,
or they're all using that name just to confuse
yeah,
you,
they're just all Sam.
or to not freak you out.
Who else was here? That was Sam. I know, but he followed us from there. Yes, it was all the same time. Mark's home and he's arguing with me. Aw. So Patty says, Susie, good to see you. Hi, Witchy. Thanks for all of the amazing info. Yeah, I just think that people have really been interested in this. So, okay, yeah, here's another one. So Indigo's really good at asking questions. So what are is it
Your
he says was
guides,
it guides? Yeah.
guides. Yeah.
I have some animal guides and some guides linked to other faith paths. So, yeah, you might explain a little bit about
Yeah.
guides.
So, I mean, we all have guides, and they're there to help us in kind of whatever way we really need.
Mhm.
And but you do need to ask. They don't just
Yeah,
jump up and help. Yeah, they're respectful that way. Like you
like
have
you
to
need to
reach out
ask.
if you want.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you give them
yeah. And
permission.
angels, yeah, angels I understand are the same way. You've
Yeah,
you've got to ask for that help.
yeah.
Um so my guides in particular are I I mean the two that I didn't meet that are still cloaked, I'm pretty sure are ETs. And I
Mhm.
love like all sorts of alien stuff, so that makes
Mhm.
sense that there would be that there. But yeah, I mean, they're the team that you chose to work with before you got here, in my opinion, anyway.
Mhm.
That both as far as our human friends and
Mhm.
you know friends and not so friends.
Yeah.
I believe we chose all of those before we got here, and same with our spirit guides as well. And yeah, they can be animals. They can be, it can be a ball of light. Who knows?
Mhm.
So just, it, I mean, as far as our personification of those types of entities, it's all for our benefit anyway, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, they could
Yeah.
be anything.
I've heard my grandmother say stuff to me whenever I was asleep when that where I'm starting to wake up, and I've heard my grandmother, she's been gone for years, and I've heard her, say my name and or say something to me, and I smell my uncle. Like, he always smoked cigarettes and drank beer, and I will smell his cigarettes and his beer. I'll smell him, and I'll hear him
Wow.
laugh. So, I mean, it's weird. I mean, I can't explain it. I know I have to be somewhat intuitive or, open to it for to be hearing this stuff because I know other people say that they don't. I just
Yeah.
think it's
Yeah.
normal.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
like,
there you go.
I don't think
Sounds
it's anything,
perfect.
you know. I'm like, don't doesn't everybody's uncle like his wife or his widow, she's like, "Oh, I miss Carl so much. I just miss him." And I'm like, "I hear from him all the time. I'll smell him and I'll be look I don't see him, but I'll be looking around and he hasn't
All the
really he
signs.
said a couple of things, like a couple of words, but it's like usually doesn't make sense. It's like I haven't heard the whole sentence or something. It's just like a word that I catch. But I'll hear him laugh and he laughs a lot and I'll hear money jingle. And he was always jingling coins in his pocket and he would do that. And then all
Ah,
the kids that would be around would know that he had change in his pocket and they would come, the little ones, and they would come over and he would give them all the money out of his pocket. Oh, John's popping in. Did he mean to?
did he meet you?
I don't
Nope.
think so.
Hi.
Hi, John. Bye, John. But yeah, I mean, my grandma, my my uncle, and Sam. But I really don't hear a lot. I saw my ex-husband's granny and grandpa one day drive past me in a car and they had been dead for years. And I absolutely saw them drive past me in a car. I felt
Wow.
like I could reach out and touch them, but I don't know, I'm weird.
Yeah. It's okay.
I
Welcome to the
don't
club.
know. Yeah. Maybe that's why I like everybody. I'm like, they're my kinda weird.
Yeah.
Mark
Exactly.
said Mark says, "You're drunk." I'm like, "No, I'm not." Thing is I am stone cold sober whenever any of this stuff has happened. It's like,
Yeah.
it hasn't been like, like some kind of good drunk. Yeah, I did. I took pictures when we were in Savannah. I'll have to show you some of those. I'll gather them up and I'll show you some sometime. Um, I took some pictures as we were going down the road at this house that I really liked, and I loved the wrought iron fence that was out in front of it, and so I took these pictures. And whenever I got some of them printed, and, I mean, it was a digital camera, but I had a bunch of them printed off,
Hmm.
anyway, I'm going through there, and I'm like, "What is this?" And I, like, showed it to my husband, and there is a soldier, like a Civil War or something soldier, standing in the gate in front of this house at this fence. There was no soldier there. There was no
Wow.
man, no, because I mean, they've got people that'll dress up like people and walk around
Hmm.
town and tell stories because it's all very historic there,
Yeah.
but we were on a ghost tour. And but there was nothing there. I mean, I was taking a picture and it was daylight, and I was taking the picture because I loved the fence. It had this beautiful wrought iron fence, and like the whole house, it looked like it had all this beautiful wood trim, but it wasn't. It was all iron because the guy owned this iron factory thing there. But yeah, there was a ghost in my pictures, and there's several of them in other pictures. And like I took pictures in cemeteries, and you can see babies in the pictures.
Ooh,
Yeah.
wow.
I mean, not only babies, but on some of
Yeah.
them, there's like several babies. Yeah, and
Jeez.
a guy in a top hat. It's just weird. I need to get these pictures together, and we'll have to do like a Zoom call with everybody or maybe from here, and I'll pop them up and show you guys. I've had some weird stuff. I don't know.
That's cool.
So I'm trying to go down through here and make sure I don't miss any questions. Incarnasoul says, "Sorry, we pronounce sorry incorrectly. Sorry, we pronounce." Well, I watch. A friend of mine has a channel too. Her name's Nova, and so she does a channel mostly where she talks about. Right now, she's been talking about that brother and sister in Canada that
Mm,
disappeared, Jack and
yeah,
Lily. And so
yeah.
she lives pretty close to there and everything. So it's really, dear to her heart and everything. And so every time I listen to her, then I'll go around trying to remind myself how to pronounce words. I always tell Mark, I want to move to Canada. You can't survive the winter.
Eh,
And I would. I would go.
just don't go out as often.
So let's see here. Yeah. I love sorry. So much more fun than plain old sorry. True. Uh, absolutely. Whoops, I'm doing the wrong thing again. I'm bad about punching the wrong buttons or the wrong place. It's not the wrong buttons. I just hit the wrong.
And go
He
outside when it's
says,
20 gazillion degrees below,
oh,
and then go full matrix on polar bears. We unfortunately don't have any polar bears in this area, Ben. I apologize for disappointing you.
yeah. Christy says, moon water is amazing. I have all different kinds that I use in spells. Strom. I
Storm,
can't
snow, gentle rain.
spell.
So like from
Yeah.
different. That makes sense. That's cool.
Yeah. Because I was really interested in yours where you were saying something about that you'll make the moon water in the storms, and they were saying the others were
Well,
saying they
I don't
don't.
know if I have. I just I haven't
You thought it
worried
was
about it.
yeah.
Yeah,
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 you like that you didn't see a problem with it or something, and I was just like,
yeah.
"I like her."
But
He's
again, it just depends on,
yeah,
yeah, it
what
depends on how
feels
you look at
right.
it.
Let's see here.
And then,
Misha
like Christy does, you can harness that, right? So you know, okay, I got this one when it was like this, and this when it was like this. Okay, well, I'm doing a spell that requires some calm, so we'll choose this one here.
Mm. The other day, I was always like, "Yeah, I'm not all that worried about, like, spells and everything," and the other day, I was, like, mad at somebody, and I said, "I'm getting more interested all the time." I
See,
said, "I might be not a nice witch."
that's a funny thing with me is like I don't do a lot of magic, but
Mhm.
I find that things will happen when I'm very emotional about it. So if I'm really angry, like seriously, look
Yeah.
out. So my last building where I lived, I was mad at the landlords for something. They had bought the building and like just recently, so the people I signed my contract with who were wonderful were gone, and there's these new jerks, and I was pissed off about something, and I came down to the lobby the next morning, and there had been like a water leak where there was water everywhere. There's like all these signs and things, and the ceilings kind of falling
Mhm.
apart, and I was like, and I laughed, and when I laughed, I was like, okay, if I'm finding this funny, did I do this?
Aw.
I also another one of my fun favorite ones. So I was leaving work and I had now this one there was intention behind it, but still. So I was leaving work and I assumed that I had dropped my bus pass because I was getting a ride home that night. I get home and I reach in my pocket for my keys and I notice, usually there's my keys and my bus pass. Bus pass isn't there. I'm like, okay, well, I hope I dropped it at work. And then I thought, oh, I hope I didn't drop it outside. What if someone wanders by and takes it or whatever? It's like it's right in the beginning of the month. Like I don't want to have to buy another one.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I put up like an invisibility cloak around the door. I was like, if it's in front of the door, just so that it's like right around the door so that people won't see it. And the next morning, sure enough, it was there. So I got, my coworker to put it aside and whatever. And then later that week, a couple days later, so I had 2 Amazon packages on the way, and my boss had one. And hers, she couldn't find. She's like, I don't know where it went. It says it's delivered, but it wasn't delivered here. So she doesn't know where hers is. I'm sitting like I'm up at the front of the store, and literally I get a thing saying my Amazon package is about to be delivered. And so I'm waiting for it. And then it's like delivery failed, business closed. And I'm like, I'm right here, dude. Like the
Yeah.
business is not closed. What's going on? And so I was confused. And then the second part of that same package, it said, I can't remember. It was a delivery failure for a different reason. And I'm like, what's going on? And so it turned out that the first one had gone to the breakfast place right beside us, so closed because they
Yeah.
were delivering it after 3 p.m. when they were closed. And
Yeah.
then my boss's package had gone to the cannabis store on the other side of us. And the other one was just delayed like a week because they didn't know where it went. And then I was like, wait a minute. I put up that invisibility thing over the door.
Oh
And
no.
then someone says to me, like, were you guys quieter that weekend too? Like, did you think that maybe you lost some customers? And I was like, no, that weekend, because it was a long weekend. I'm like, no, I think Thanksgiving usually isn't that busy. And I looked at my boss and she just kind of raised an eyebrow and she's like, well, so yeah, she's like, she knew I was magical.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love that. Yeah. Goodness. We're gonna skip over Ben because he's just full of it. Talking about pull my finger. I'm not even gonna do it.
Oh, and I thought
Yeah.
of another one.
Oh yeah, tell
So
it.
I was mugged one time,
Oh my.
and it honestly, it wasn't as scary as it could have been. It was like 2 young kids and whatever, but it kind of put the fear into me afterwards. And I thought, like, so what I did was made myself invisible. So you don't see me, you don't notice me, you're not going to hurt me, right? And and it was probably a year or 2 later, I'm like, why do people run into me on the sidewalk? Literally, like, we'll be making eye contact and they'll still shoulder check me. And it took a while, like much annoyance before I was like, oh, wait a minute. Didn't I say I didn't want to be noticed? Well,
Yeah.
I think I got my wish.
Yeah. You know how people like tie a string around their finger? You need like
Yeah,
some kind of string to remind you to undo undo
yes.
these things.
Or to be more careful when I'm doing.
Yeah. Like just mean it for this specific
Yes.
time, not like
Yeah.
forever. Yeah, Savannah, Georgia is the most haunted town in the United States. It is something. We have really had a good time with some of the stuff in Savannah. I love it. But hold on. There we go. Says I used to deliver horses to Savannah a long time ago. What a beautiful place. Yeah, we love it there. We used to go several times a year, but so oh God, what is he gonna? Oh, we already read that one. Never mind. I'm telling you. I had this one girl come on after the show one time and say, "Why do you hate Ben so much?" And I go, "No, I love Ben, but he's a pain in the ass."
We'll just start calling him Hemorrhoid.
Hemorrhoid. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, here we go. Indigo says, I can relate to that. People always said that I was uncanny and quiet and was sneaking up on them. I guess I cloaked myself in accident. Yeah, on accident. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it at that. So you have a little bit of time. You've got a few minutes to get ready for your next show. But I appreciate you being on here so much. And I
Yeah,
would
it
love
was
to have
fun.
you back sometime. We'll have have 2 or 3 of you on,
Yeah, that sounds fun.
have Christy
Awesome.
and have,
Yeah.
so that we can kind of bounce off of each other, and I'll just sit here and
Just absorb it all.
yeah, just absorb it all. That's what I do when I'm watching you guys. I just sit there and just like, "God, and like I'll back up. I'll be like, "What did she say?" And I'll go back up and listen to something again. It just feels so good to. I've never been around a group of women that like they're practicing what I have felt for so long.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and was kind of afraid of it because of my church background, was
Yeah.
terrified of it. And so I would deny it. And so now I'm just not denying it anymore. All I'm doing now is saying, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to try. I'm trying to learn.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing.
Yay.
But yeah, I would
Beautiful.
love to have you back on again soon, and I will be watching. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. And I don't usually come backstage and talk afterwards. So when
Okay.
you go backstage, you can just go ahead and leave. But thank you so much.
Yeah,
I
thank
really,
you. Thanks, everybody.
yeah. Wasn't she great, guys? I really liked her. I was serious. I was watching one night and I really was kind of getting a girl crush on her because she's just, she's kind of mouthy just a little bit, but in a nice way. So I don't know. She resonated with me, and I thought that you all would have fun meeting her. I know a lot of you already know her, but yeah. And then next Wednesday we're gonna have Christy is coming on, and then I'm gonna get with Millie and get her on, and I don't know where we're gonna go from that, but I could do this for a year. I'd be happy. So if you all know anybody in the witchy community that would like to come on, especially on a Wednesday, let me know. Have them give me drop me an email or find me on Facebook or just whatever, because I would love to talk to them. And I like to do just like this where we just kind of just talk and see where it goes. So anyway, well, I'm gonna go. Mark's here. We're gonna have some dinner. I brought him some dinner home from Olive Garden. So anyway, I'm gonna talk to him for a little bit. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you tomorrow.
Hope you enjoyed the show, so glad you were here. We meet here most days, we're but first coffee and you're welcome here. We talk about hard subjects, but we also laugh a lot. If you have a loss or win, we will cheer for you. We're but first coffee and you are safe here. So hit those like and subscribe buttons, notifications set to all. You don't wanna miss a show, because this is your home to y'all. So hit those like and subscribe buttons, notifications set to all. You don't wanna miss a show, because this is your home to y'all. So hit those like and subscribe buttons, notifications set to all.